Hello everybody, it's Joe here from the Ffiws Makerspace, and today I want to talk to you about a bit of kit that we've got in the Ffiws Makerspace called the BBC Microbit. This is a picture of a BBC Microbit, and they're a super cheap, super cool, super easy way for people to get going with trying out a little bit of coding and maybe learning a little bit about electronics as well. The brilliant thing about the BBC Microbit is that you do not need a BBC Microbit in your hand or in your house to have a go at playing with the code and running the code and seeing what happens when you run your code. And I'll show you how we do that in this video. Of course, you are more than welcome to use the booking system to make an appointment with one of the technicians at the Ffiws Makerspace and come in and have a play with the BBC Microbit. But as I say, you really don't need to. Okay, before we dive into how to code it, let's just have a little walk around using this picture what a BBC Microbit is. So it's a small little electronic device. It can be powered off. In this photograph, you can see there's a battery pack with a couple of AAA batteries in it. But also, you can't really see it, but there's a USB port on the back here, so it can be powered over USB. So it's low voltage, so it's really, really, really safe for young people, old people, any people to have in their hands. It's not going to electrocute you. It's a little circuit board. It's got some bits on the front and the back, and this is the front. As you can see, it's got a couple of buttons. So of course you can press these buttons and you can code it to respond to do things when you press the buttons. But it's not just got button inputs. Something you can't see is it has a thing called an accelerometer in it, which means that you can get it to respond when it's moved or shaken or sort of held in different orientations. So pushing it forwards, you could code it to do something. You could code it to do something when you shake it, and I'll show you how to do that in a second as well. It's got this array of LEDs here. So these are tiny little LEDs that are built into it, and they can light up and turn off, and you can create icons that can be shown on here. It can also, you can write text and get text to kind of scroll across this little screen, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute as well. And then lastly, at the bottom here, we're not going to do too much with these today, but these are sort of little electronic contact points. They're referred to as pins, and the reason that they're there is that you can use crocodile clips and wires to attach other components to the microbit, and then you can code the microbit to do things to control those components. So for example, you can add a motor, you could add larger LEDs, you could add more complex circuitry. We're not going to particularly look at those today. Okay, so there we go. Oh, I should say that if you wanted to own a microbit of your very own, they're available for around £10 to £15 online. So they're not too bad in terms of expense. Okay. I'm going to change tab to this tab. This is just my internet browser, and I've navigated to this page, which is makecode.microbit.org. You can find this page either by laboriously copying in that URL, or you can, if you Google make code all as one word, or if you Google make code and microbit, you'll definitely find this website as the top hit. So this is the website, a website, there are others, but this is a website you can use that's nice and simple to get you started with writing some code for the microbit. Before we open up a new project, I just want to show you around the site. There's lots and lots and lots of examples of things that have been done with microbits, and there's also lots of video tutorials that can teach you to do all kinds of different projects with the microbit. You don't need an account for this website. If you log into it off the same browser, so if like you're logged into Chrome or something and you're logged in and you go to this site again, it should automatically have all your projects that you've worked on previously. So here we can see these are all my projects that I've worked on for other projects and bits of work and stuff. Okay, so we're going to dive straight in and click New Project. So let's give our project a name. So let's call it Ffiws is great. And click create. And then that takes you to this other page here. So this page is where we're going to do our coding. You could actually change the language and do other things on this, but it automatically selects this block-based language, which in my opinion is the easiest way to get started coding the BBC microbit, and you don't ever have to have coded before to do what I'm about to do. So to code the microbit, we're going to select things from these menus over here. And we're going to, once we've selected a bit of code we want, we're going to drag it in and it appears as a block. So this area over here is where we're going to, excuse me, put our code in. Over here, and this is the reason why we don't need a microbit in real life, this is not just a pretty picture of a microbit, it's actually an emulator. So when we add code over here, we can test that the code works by clicking the buttons and doing things with this image of a microbit over here, and it should respond in the correct way. So therefore, you really, if you just want to have a play and see if it's for you, you don't even have to own the microbit in real life. Okay, so I just dragged in one of these on button A pressed from the input menu by left clicking and dragging it over. I'm dragging another one in. Now this one's greyed out because we've got two things that say button A. So there's our first lesson. We can't have two things attached to the same button particularly. Okay, so you'll notice that there's a little drop down menu. So if I change this one to button B, then it becomes visible again. So these little code blocks are pretty obvious, I think, as to what's going to happen. So it says on button A pressed, and there's a gap here. So we're going to put some code in here, another block that basically when we press button A, it's going to do this. When we press button B, it's going to do whatever we place in here. So let's go to the basic menu. And there's lots of things we could add in here. But for a start, let's grab this show icon block, left click it, drag it, and then click it in to this slot here. Okay, now when I press button A, I should see this heart-shaped icon. Ta-da! Amazing, there we go. We've just virtually coded some code onto a microcontroller. Wasn't that hard, was it? Okay, so this is a drop-down menu, so we can select different icons. So now on button A press, give it a moment to refresh. We should see that new icon. There we go. And of course, we can do the same for button B. So go to the basic menu and let's put another icon in and let's make it something different. Okay, after it's refreshed for a moment, we should now have button A presses and we see this icon. Yep. Button B presses and we see this icon. Brilliant. Okay, we could add another one of these. And this time we could make it say button A plus B. And instead of putting in an icon, let's maybe click this show LEDs. So this is similar to the icon thing, but this one we can actually just turn on and off which LEDs we want to light up when this button is pressed. Okay, so and magically, because we can't press A and B at the same time in the emulator, it's added a virtual button that we can press for A and B. So let's check A is working. Yep, that shows that icon. B shows this icon. And A plus B shows our little custom icon that we made. Okay, final thing. Let's have a little look at, this is a good block. So this is, do you remember I said we had an accelerometer? So this basically allows different gestures to be used a bit like buttons. So when we on shake, on moving the logo side up, moving the logo side down, on tilting right, tilting left, on different levels. These are like different levels of force, so or free fall. So when the microbit gets dropped, we could make it do something. Let's stick with shake for now. So when we shake the device, what are we going to get it to do? We could get it to clear the screen, but that's a bit boring. How about we show a string? So show string, you can see here, we've got a little bit of text held in quote marks, and we can change this string of information to anything we like. So we're going to pretend that when it gets shaken, it goes, oh, because it doesn't like being shaken, because it's too early in the morning for it to be shaken or something. Hey, you can see now that it's added this shake sort of button, but it's not a button. It just shows us that now we can shake by wobbling our mouse over the emulator, and it shows our string of text. The other stuff still works. We press A. Oh, we've shaken it. Press B. I think we're still shaking it there. If we press B, if we press... Oh, it's hard not to shake it. But you get the general idea. So yeah, there we go. There's some really, really simple ways to get started and just have a little play with the BBC microbit. If you have one in real life, the brilliant thing about this website now is that to put that code on an actual microbit in real life, all you have to do is click the save button, and you can see that it will download a file. It's a hex file, and it starts off with microbit dash, and then it's the file name that you gave your project. And if you had a microbit in real life, you plug it into your computer via a USB cable, and it will appear just like a pen drive called microbit. So you can click and drag that file that you've just downloaded, or you can copy and paste it onto the microbit sort of pen drive. And when you do so, a little LED on the back, a yellow LED, will flash for about 10 seconds as it installs your code. And when it stops flashing, you should find that when you press the buttons or shake it, it runs your code. There we go, as simple as that. Hope you found that useful, and hope everybody's well, and look forward to seeing you in the Ffiws makerspace very soon. Take care, bye bye for now.